Hello and welcome to yet another video. Today we'll be talking about the ever popular small compact mirrorless camera, the Sony A6000, which was released back in 2014, and 2021 is just we have begun 4 months, and we'll be talking about whether you should invest or buy this camera in 2021. So let's begin. So speaking from personal experience, I have been a user of the Sony A6000 for the last 3.5 years. I am pretty much satisfied, but with the growing demands in short video making, Instagram marketing and general filmmaking, humans are getting very noticeable, and they are getting very short attention span. So yeah, they are consuming video a lot more than photos these days. So it has become necessary to actually go out and film yourself. So we'll be talking about 5 points whether you should buy the camera. I will be speaking 5 positives, and I will be speaking 5 negatives that why you shouldn't buy the camera. So let us begin with the positives first. Point number 1, that is obvious, the size and the form factor. Yes, being the new A6000 series, not new comparatively, but when it was launched, then A6000 was the smallest, most compact and very lightweight camera body. It just weighs less than 400 grams, and if you put any modern mirrorless lens in front, neither lens will make it front heavy, and it is perfect for your gimbals. If you are even using smaller gimbals or larger gimbals, this camera would perfectly fit if you're trying to balance, if you want to take cinematic shots, and you can use it for a bit longer over your use, and you won't get the fatigue. So if you are among those category of people who like to travel and make more videos, then this one should be a good choice. Point number 2, despite being a small camera, it doesn't neglect some of the most important features. You're definitely getting a very good quality 24 megapixel BSI CMOS sensor, and which definitely is plenty for photography. And yes, you can take very decent videos itself, but it's primarily a camera centric camera. Yeah, if you want to have more hybrid options, then definitely you should go with the more expensive, the full frame lineup. Yeah, remember that the A6000 belongs to the APS-C lineup. So if you're fine with because APS-C cameras, if you use a full frame lens on an APS-C camera, you will definitely get that 1.5x crop, so that your focal length actually increased by 1.5 times. So yeah, if you want to have a small body, a silent body with its electronic shutter, that you can use it for wildlife photography. If you have a telephoto range and you want to get that extra reach, APS-C definitely helps. Point number 3, speaking of another strength of the A6000 would be its autofocus performance. Yes, it's by far very good compared to this budget, because it's very cheap. For if you're talking in Indian rupees, you will get the body with the kit lens for just around 40 or 5,000 or 50,000, and it's around $500, $600, maybe less than that for the in US dollars. So yes, it's very good for your budget friendly, and those who want to get into the mirrorless system for your first time. You have always used the bulkier, the most sluggish DSLRs, and if you want to get a taste of how a mirrorless works with its very fast and responsive autofocus system, then definitely A6000 would be very good if you want to spend little less on your body. Number 4 is not really a point, but rather a quirk. Since this body is plenty capable of shooting high quality photos, so you're actually spending $400 to $500 just on the body. You can save this amount by not buying a very expensive body like the more latest A6600, which costs way above $1,000. You can spend those extra cash in getting a very good quality APS-C lens that will make a lot of more difference. And since this body doesn't have in-body image stabilization, so you should get a lens which has IBIS, so that you will get an overall much more pleasing video footage. And last point, and not really a strength, but it definitely helps if you are more into photography. In video it might not. It has a very good frame rates for this little body. You can definitely shoot 1080p at 60 fps, and it doesn't have 4K option, but I will talk it to the negative sides. And you will definitely have an option to shoot 11 fps of continuous shooting, so that's plenty fast for action shots, or if you want to catch something in action or freeze the moment by raising the shutter speed. So yeah, pretty good. Now let's speak about the negatives. Yes, despite being an owner of the A6000 for the past 3.5 years, I definitely have complaints which were not so apparent when I bought it first time, but I will be giving my honest review, so there's nothing complicated about it. We definitely have been seeing more technology improvements, more lineups of APS-C cameras from either Nikon, Canon, and Sony's own A6600, A6400. So here are my top 5 features which actually will prevent me if I had to buy another for myself. Point number 1 would be obvious. It's like it does not shoot 4K. Yes, I understand a lot of you guys who are getting into beginner might not have the raw horsepower to actually process those extracted 4K raw files. So you might be very good with a low resolution video footage, but at most times for shooting in 4K will definitely get you that extra reach. Say you wanna focus on something very nicely, you want that a little bit better cropping abilities, or if you want to have nice smooth motion, definitely 4K helps. And yes, we do not have any 4K option, so you're definitely stuck with 1080p shooting modes. And yes, that will bring me on to my second point. If you're a hardcore B-roll and a slow-mo shooting person, then it doesn't have actually 120 FPS. So yes, having 120 FPS definitely makes a slight more easier to shoot compared to 60 FPS. Like you have to have less movement, but you will get exactly much better quality shots. So yeah, it is stuck with 1080p 60 FPS. So you might be restricted in certain places. Well, just to make it clear, like there's a difference between shooting 60 FPS and 50 FPS. Like you might be wondering like why certain modes have 25 FPS, not 24 FPS, and 100 FPS, 120 FPS. What's the difference? Yes, in the video mode, you will definitely see when you go to the movie section, you will have something called NTSC and PAL. So yes, if you are in like the Indian subcontinent or certain other countries like the eastern part, the video mode preference is PAL. So like it resembles, because the electricity supply here, it's actually 50 hertz. So that way, if you are shooting everything in the PAL mode, so then you will get a frame rate like 25 FPS, 100 FPS. You will not get 120 or 24. That's the reason, because if you are shooting at 25 and 100 FPS, even if you are shooting at very high shutter speed, you will not get that flickering, which actually, if there are electronic appliances or light bulbs in the background, you will not face the flickering issue. But if you are shooting in NTSC mode, that's the other mode that is widely more popular in the European and American places, because the electricity supply there is 60 Hz. So it perfectly suits them. They will not get any flicker if they shoot in NTSC mode. That's why they will be having the more traditional movie like 24 FPS, 120 FPS and 60 FPS. So that is something to keep in mind. Point number 4. It does the battery life is not really good, and it doesn't use the Sony Alpha line A7 series like the NPFZ 100 batteries. It is stuck with the 50 version battery. So yeah, the shots per charge is not really impressive. You are stuck with around 300 to 400. Yeah, that's a lot, I understand. But if you are shooting rapid videos and you're taking multiple photos at the same time, you will definitely see a sharp decrease in battery power. And yeah, the back LCD, since it's not AMOLED or very power efficient, it will definitely drain your battery a lot. So keep that in mind if you are thinking to actually buy this camera and take on long travels. Make sure you buy a spare of extra batteries. You might get the Sony's official spare batteries, or any third party will do, but the charge might be different, but they will work flawlessly. But yeah, since it doesn't have the industry standard larger batteries, so it might be a bummer for a lot of people. And last but not the least, one of my most important feature, if you are a avid filmmaker, or if you are taking your craft more seriously, it does have only one card slot. Yes, it should have dual slots, so that if you do not have the problem of one card filling out or one card failing, so there is no redundancy problem. But yes, since it does have a problem, so you might always be in a hurry that you have to swap SD cards, or you have to take care of the SD cards more often. Having dual card slots is really good, and it will definitely prevent you from major failures. And the last thing you want is your footage to be not recorded or getting damaged due to some reason, which obviously no one wants. So as a conclusion, I would like to say that if you are in the market for a new mirrorless system and you are having a very tight budget, say less than $700 just for the body, I would say don't get the A6000 currently, because its own lineup, the A6100 and the A6400, are much improved. Like I will talk about some of the key highlights why you should be skipping the A6000 and why you should be going for the next better is the A6100. First, if you are a very good vlogger or a filmmaker, you would definitely prefer a front tilting screen. Yes, the A6100 will be having a top flipping screen so that you can actually see yourself. That's very handy. You get the support of shooting 4K, that's awesome, and you definitely have the option of shooting 120 FPS. So all are the small things which you are needing to make good films are definitely present. And another much more annoying feature which was missing in the A6000 was the lack of any headphone jack or microphone jack, and even there was no Type-C at that point. Yeah, I can understand it was 2014, Type-C was very new, or rather not existent, so that's fine. But not having a mic jack or a headphone jack was a lot of inconvenience. So get the A6100 or A6400, then you will be fine. If you are asking me what is the difference between the A6100 and A6400, A6400 is almost similar like the A6100, but the A6400 has better weather sealing, not very good as A6600 which is rated. You would get proper dedicated picture profiles for shooting in log format or like gamut in A6400. The A6100 does not have. So that is my video for this, and hope you guys had some insight. And if you are into the market to get a new mirrorless camera, definitely keep these points in mind. And definitely my choice would be, if you are in the tightest of budget, definitely go with the A6100. Skip the A6000 for future measures, because you definitely want your camera to like be there for at least 3-4 years. You can definitely buy more lenses, swap it in, and these are the choice if you are wanting to stay in the APS-C lineup. So if you are in the full frame lineup, definitely this doesn't apply. But that was my recommendation, that was my thoughts and my honest impressions, because I've been using it for quite some time, so I have been knowing the perks and the quirks. If you like this video, definitely hit the subscribe button, and you will be seeing more content lately. You can check out my other videos, and I made a Sony A7 IV video. I will be putting the link in the I button. You can check that if you're interested in that, because I will be interested to buy one. So till then, I will be back with another video, and have a nice day ahead.